Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
You all ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
Dun, 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 dun.
This is a sham.
No.
Y'all, just stop. Get real.
Welcome to DBL. We got Jeff, Lindsay, and Tori on the panel.
What's going on?
What's going on, everyone?
Nothing. How are you guys doing?
We're doing well.
He wasn't expecting that warm welcome.
Hey.
Yeah, it was.
I should do, Jeff's here.
It was pretty sweet. Lindsay Granger, everybody.
Yeah. Let's intro Tori that way always. Okay. The world's richest man, I'm sure you have heard, doesn't own Twitter just yet. But Elon Musk said yesterday that once he takes control, he would reverse the company's ban on Donald Trump. Twitter's co-founder, Jack Dorsey, also weighed in, saying he agrees with Elon and supports Trump's return. Despite being allowed back, it does seem that the former president may turn them down. That's according to the man who runs Trump's own social media platform, Truth Social. So DBL Nation, we really want to know what you think about all of this. Should Donald Trump return to Twitter? Yes or no? Go to dblvote.com to weigh in. This is a show that you have your opinions heard. So go ahead and weigh in as we discuss. Lindsay, what do you think about it's not a surprise, but what do you think about it?
I think it's kind of short-sighted for billionaires that own several media companies to be political gatekeepers. It's kind of like that. How did that become the role of these billionaires that now own several different social media platforms? But I also think President Trump said something interesting, that he doesn't want to return to Twitter and that he has Truth Social. And a lot of people are saying that, if he returns to Twitter, all this chaos will come. But he is going to ultimately insert himself in the political discourse at some point. And so whether we find his quotes on Truth Social or whether he goes on a rampage that we film and play somewhere, we're going to hear from him, whether he's in the election supporting midterm candidates. So I don't think that Twitter banning him has really stopped him from getting across his points. I mean, he supported several people in the midterms that have done successfully and won them, won in their regions. And so it's just kind of like, if he wants us to hear from him, we're going to hear from him.
Do you think, but hearing from him on a bigger platform like Twitter is like using a megaphone. So do you think he should be allowed to use that megaphone?
Well, I think people are smart and people have the discernment to mute people or block people or not listen to people, just in the same way that I'm on Twitter and have the option to block anybody who's a white supremacist or offensive to me. And so I think people will decide whether they want information from President Trump or not if he returns.
Yeah, I agree.
Jeff, what do you think?
I agree with Lindsay. If people want to hear from President Trump, he has outlets to make people listen, right? All you have to do is block him on Twitter. I think we're way too caught up in should Trump come back to Twitter? That's why Elon Musk bought Twitter. It's a business decision. He didn't buy it to let Trump back on the site. People are out of their minds, but that's what they think, right? The Taliban, members of the Taliban are on Twitter. Why aren't they banned, right? This goes back since newspaper days. Whoever controls the press, right, whether it be liberal or Republican, controls the narrative. Right now, I would say the media, everyone in television, is leaning left, right?
Skews left, yeah.
So they block people from the right. I think it needs to be down the middle. It needs to be more equal. I believe that's what Elon Musk is going to do. Even though he's letting Trump back on there, I believe you need a middle ground. If you dead name somebody, if you say something like, if I called Bruce Jenner, or if I called Caitlyn Jenner a man, I would be banned from Twitter, right? Certain things you need to be banned. If you're a white supremacist, you need to be banned. But there's certain things where it's just too political why people are getting banned, in my opinion. I want it to be more level and down the middle and have an equal playing field.
I really, really disagree with you both, and I think that's interesting. I want to read some comments here. Rob Reiner says, by reinstating Trump, Elon Musk is condoning lies and disinformation. He's clearly comfortable with someone inciting violence to overthrow our government. Michael says, this is the best news ever. Thank you, Elon. Mike says, let's let all ideas compete, see which make the best sense. Stop trying to muzzle voices that we disagree with. In the week following Trump's ban on Twitter after the insurrection, misinformation about the election fell 73%. It's something different when Trump gets on Twitter because Twitter has the biggest noise of them all. So you're getting more voices. If you really care about disinformation, about COVID, about the government, about lives, then you would take Trump off of Twitter. Now, here's the thing. You also take crazy far left.
Right, you're skewing it, though. You're skewing it to the left.
No, I'm saying you also
And again, you're getting caught up in the whole Trump thing.
I'm not. I'm getting caught up in the...
You just read 2 comments about Trump. Yeah, you're getting caught up in the
This
Trump
whole
thing.
subject is about Trump.
That's what I'm saying.
We're
You're getting
talking
caught,
about Trump getting put on
Right,
Twitter.
you're getting caught. Everyone's getting too caught up with the Trump thing. Block him. It's media's outlets like us, when he tweets something, to repeat that. If you're just reading your information and getting information on Twitter, block him. Don't listen to him.
To me, the meaning of Twitter that has not free speech because it's not the government has its own rules. And once you break those rules over and over, let me finish.
Very liberal rules. Yes.
No, excuse me. They are general, genuine rules about misinformation, about COVID, about spreading violence and inciting violence. And when you break them over and over again, like he did, and they gave him warning, he continued to do so, and you are off. The left does that too. I believe white supremacists should do that too, as of the Taliban.
Yes,
but my problem, if you have Elon Musk in there, he's going to let everybody on. The racists, the Nazis. He wants every single person on there. And guess what? There will be an exodus of Twitter of people leaving saying, I don't want this noise. I don't want to wake up.
There won't be, because people want to be heard.
Not when it's
no.
Also,
it's good to note that Twitter is not the most popular social platform.
It's not.
It's one of them. Let's be really honest.
No, I was
here.
listening to actually a report on NBC News last night, and it's actually declining. So it's not even the main place, which is why I said we have to trust that Americans are smart enough to gather their information.
They're not.
And okay, but that's offensive to say to people that they're not smart enough. Yeah, because people make decisions based on how they feel and vote based on how they feel.
And storm the Capitol and kill
I understand
police
that, but
listen
news
to someone
outlets
on
also watched President Trump say things that were false and cut off the report and said the truth, right? So people had the option.
Doing that?
Right, but that would mean allow him there and then say, this is wrong, just like they did with COVID information. This is misinformation. Or like with Joe Rogan putting a slogan that says, this is not a news show. This is an entertainment program. That was the option for other media outlets like Spotify. So I think that's the only point, is like that if, yes, he's a different position because he's president, right? And yes, it led to an insurrection and that was terrible. But if Elon Musk owns it, this is, again, a billionaire being asked to manage the public and political discourse of other people. And so that's not actually the billionaire's role as a business owner. No business owner actually, that's not their role.
That's a philosophy. And if a billionaire who owns like Bezos, who's on the Washington Post, they might not post like a big op-ed from Trump or something like that. It is up to them to decide, because they're not the government.
But why isn't there an uproar about Bezos owning that? He's doing the same thing Musk is doing. They're billionaires trying to control their narrative. But there's no uproar about Bezos doing it, because if you're the left, there is no uproar. If you're the right, there's a huge uproar.
I really disagree with you on that.
But what do you disagree with what I just said? What I
disagree with is allowing disinformation to be said is allowed as political discourse.
But you're allowing disinformation on the left. Do you see what I'm saying? They're both doing the same thing. They're both doing the same thing, but there is no, it's not called discourse when when Bezos does it. It's not discourse. It's just business. When Musk does it, it's discourse. Do you see what I'm saying? It's the same thing.
For me, letting Trump back onto, and common sense says Twitter is one of the 4 places you go when you're trying to find out about the news. Letting Trump back on there after we've seen the insurrection, we've seen people die from COVID disinformation, is a disservice and almost a public health emergency to the people who don't know how to discern. Because when you let that information go and you don't check it, it's going to go rampant, and that's what we saw. So I'm
again, you're getting caught up with the Trump thing. I appreciate your point of view, and I appreciate you having this discussion with me. I really do. I appreciate that, but I think everyone's getting too caught up in Trump. He said he's not even going back on there. I'm saying for the rest of the billions of people that are on Twitter, maybe we need to come to some sort of middle ground here. Forget about Trump. Ban Trump. I don't even care about Trump. Ban him. But we need to come to a middle ground somehow on social media, because it's getting way too crazy in the first place, and media is skewing a little bit to the left.
Interesting. Let's hear what people had to say. No. Should former President Trump return to Twitter? 78% of you said no. 22% of you said yes. I'm all fired up.
No, that was good.
It was good.
I appreciate that.
Warm inside. Coming up on DBL. We have Powder, our interview with one of the iconic Budweiser guys who made the "What's up" phrase famous, and a passenger with 0 flying experience takes over after the pilot gets sick. How did he pull it off?
Closed captioning provided by
Daily Blast Live is always focused, always on cue, always ready, always timely. This May, don't miss a day. DBL is all new every day.
I would say that if Twitter was funded by the government or a public forum, obviously there's rules that would exist.
Oh,
like that.
First Amendment,
but because
absolutely.
It's private and then all of them are owned by different billionaires that have different political views, we're allowing them, if they don't have a team underneath them to control this, to decide what goes. Even with the Washington Post, when you read their op-eds, which I do all the time, they skew, and whatever it is someone's opinion that's getting published. And if you're saying that the people taking it in are too stupid to read opinions on the top, then that you would know that's someone's opinion in the Washington
Why do we
Post.
have a COVID disclaimer? Because the public as a whole isn't going to spend time discerning all of that information. And I see what you're saying, but I also know Twitter has kicked off people who are extremely pro-left, like fundamentalists on both sides.
Give me an example.
Oh, I don't know names, but I should. I will get it. Yeah, I should know names.
You
Yeah,
should.
yeah. So anyway, let's read some of people what they're saying.
People are fired up in the comments.
I know it. People saying, I really don't think the Ayatollah or Taliban are posting something, though. They definitely are.
You don't think so?
They are.
That's a random person. They definitely are. They definitely
Just
are.
Me says, if the government clearly defined free speech communication platforms like Twitter, we would finally have guidelines. The problem is it's not the government, it's privately owned. So any corporation that's not the government, they get to make their own rules about who gets to go on and not. And the government has nothing to say about it, really, nothing. If this was, like she said, a public town square, you can't stop anybody. But I'm simply saying, as a communications big company, perhaps you should have discernment on both sides, like Jeff was saying, and not have Nazis
and part of that discernment, what Elon, I know we only have a couple seconds, but Elon wants to make each person individual, right? There's not going to be bots. You're going to have a check mark for every person rather than just celebrity. And that's why I'm liking Elon coming on, because if you want to say crazy things on the left or the right, now you got to pay the price for saying those things, right? People are going to know it's you. So even if you work at the grocery store, you could lose your job. It's not just me. You know what I mean?
Welcome back. Oh gosh, this is like people's worst nightmare. Passenger on his way back from Florida, to Florida from the Bahamas, got a whole lot more than he bargained for on his flight. The pilot of the small plane had a medical emergency and fell unconscious. The passenger, who had no clue how to fly, ended up having to land the plane himself with a little help from an air traffic controller. Take a look at this.
I've got a serious situation here. My pilot has gone incoherent. I have no idea how to fly the airplane. Number 333 Lima Delta, Roger. What's your position? I have no idea. I can see the coast of Florida in front of me, and I have no idea. Try to hold the wings level and see if you can start descending for me. Push forward on the controls and descend at a very slow rate.
Man, they did a great job. Did you say the passengers landed the airplane? That's correct. No flying experience.
What?
Wow,
When he
that's like
said
some
where-
Indiana Jones stuff.
Yeah. When he says, "Where are you going?" he goes, "I have no idea." I was like, "That's how I feel."
When he goes Delta Lima 33, I'd be like, what are you talking about?
He goes, "Descend." I don't know what button.
When
to
he
press.
says push the handles forward, I'm so like ridiculous that I would have just not listened and pushed them really hard, and the plane would have been like, and I would have had to bring it back up.
Like, you go faster.
Yeah, like that would have worked out for
Do
me.
you think, honestly, in the heart of hearts, if you had to do this, do you think you could, your family's on board, do you think you could do this?
Yeah, I think if worse came to worse, just like if I saw a bear or something, I'll try to do the big scream if it was a brown bear. Like, I hope it doesn't come to worse.
Yes,
But
yes,
yes,
I
I mean, a black bear. Which one do you supposed to scream?
I think a grizzly-
Not the brown, yeah, grizzly, you definitely don't scream
You
at.
don't mess around.
You just like pray and say,
This
I
is
hope
the
I'm
problem.
going
We
ahead.
don't have the time during the grizzly.
Sorry, you spring into action. Would you be able to land a plane, though? It's different than a Heimlich.
I would land it so well.
I'd rather take my chance jumping if you were flying.
I would thrive in this situation.
Really?
I thrive in very few situations, but I mean that live TV, stand up, like crazy.
You don't need to go down the list.
All right, just making sure.
Here's where I thrive.
But one of them is emergencies, and I grew up amongst that kind of a chaos. I almost.
When you're your best
I
self.
want to try landing a plane. Yeah, like it feels like maybe I should be an EMT or something. I really feel that way.
Wow.
Yeah.
I would do it if I absolutely had to, but I might be on board with you that if there was a parachute in there, I'd take my chances.
That's my
with that.
question. If there was a parachute, would you take the parachute out or would you try landing? What would you do for real?
If there was one person, the pilot died, and I was the only
Yes.
passenger, I would definitely jump.
You would?
I would definitely jump. Yeah, well, I don't know how to fly.
Or maybe go a little bit lower and then take the parachute where your jump is like building height. So
But then
it's
you're
not
in the air and you're like, where's the, I don't even know how to do this thing.
Oh, yeah, the bag might
Maybe I
not-
should have stayed in the
parachute
plane.
has to go up.
This is a couch cushion.
At least I know in an emergency, I'm just going to go with Tori.
And I get real serious and everything goes real tunnel vision. And I'm like, what if I was supposed to be a neurosurgeon?
You still have time, Tori. You're young.
I say you go for it.
Oh, you just want me out of here. Coming up on DBL, we're continuing our classic commercial star series with one of the Budweiser guys who made that iconic "What's up?" line famous.
The Food and Drug Administration proposed banning the sale of menthol cigarettes. These are the last remaining flavored cigarettes on the market and are especially popular among Black Americans. Some social media users claim the ban targets Black Americans, while others say tobacco companies have spent decades using menthol to get Black communities addicted to cigarettes. So let's verify. Does the tobacco industry target menthol cigarette advertising to Black Americans? Our sources are the American Lung Association, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the Campaign for Tobacco-Free Kids, the Food and Drug Administration, Stanford University's Repository of Tobacco Advertising, and the NAACP. Menthol was first added to cigarettes in the 1920s. The American Lung Association says the mint extract helps mask the harshness of cigarettes, which can also make menthol cigarettes more addicting, according to a Yale University study. CDC data shows that 93% of Black adults who smoke started by using menthol cigarettes, compared to 44% of white adults. The CDC says the tobacco industry targeted the Black community by sponsoring hip-hop bar nights where they offered samples of menthol cigarettes and featured, quote, urban culture and language in their ads. A Stanford University research collection of tobacco ads highlights decades of menthol ads that they say were marketed toward a younger, urban demographic, and African Americans are particularly targeted. The Lung Association and Campaign for Tobacco-Free Kids say these ads worked at making menthol cigarettes more popular in minority communities. The NAACP wrote a letter supporting the FDA's ban on menthol cigarettes, saying the tobacco industry used egregious marketing practices in Black communities. So it's true. The tobacco industry does target menthol cigarette advertising to Black Americans.
They taught us that a simple hi or hey was boring, and they gave us one of the most memorable greetings of all time. Earlier, we spoke with one of the stars from the iconic "What's up?" Budweiser commercial. Take a look.
Hello? What's that? What's up? Yeah. Yo, where's Dookie? Yo, Dookie! Yo. What's that? What's that? Hold on. Hello? So what's up, B? Watching the game, having a bud. True. True.
Scott Brooks, a.k.a. Dookie, to the show.
Dookie, since you're here, I gotta give you one. What's that? You gotta commit. You gotta commit. So that greeting is actually something you did with your friends years before Budweiser got its hands on it. How did this commercial even come to be? That's so interesting.
Growing up, my best friend was a guy named Charles Stone, and he was a music video director, but he wanted to get into the feature film world. So he made a short film that was kind of going to be like his calling card so that he could get into the feature film world. And it was entered into some film festivals, and people started seeing it. And since this was like, you know, the late 90s, before the internet and YouTube, people were making copies of the videotape back in the bootleg tape day and sending it around and giving it to their friends and everything. And one of the ad execs from DDB in Chicago saw the video and called him and said, yo, we want to turn this into a Budweiser commercial.
Wow.
That's crazy. Wow. Now, you guys are all still friends. Do you still say that to each other, or you're like, listen, Doug, enough? I don't know if any of your friends are named Doug.
I wouldn't say we like, listen, that's enough. No, we would never say that. But I mean, like, that was something we actually used to do with each other back in our teens and 20s. So when Charles was going to make the short film, he actually told me, he's like, it's about that thing we used to do back in the day, you know? So, yeah.
That's so cool.
So now we do other silly stuff now when we see each other.
Ooh, coming soon. Yeah. Mary Lou, you were going to say something?
No, I was going to say, did you have to audition, or did your friend just have you do the part? Because you guys were.
Okay, here's the funny thing. Hi, Mary Lou. First of all, big fan.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, I was not in the short film. So when Anheuser-Busch spoke to him and said, we want to, turn this into the commercial, he called me. I was working as a bouncer in a nightclub in Philly. So he called me and he's like, listen, we're holding auditions. Get up here and audition.
Whoa.
So I did. I came up and I auditioned and I ended up getting the part of Dookie. So
Yes.
That's awesome.
It's appropriate, that would happen. Now, do people yell?
Come on, you got to give it. You got to give it.
you got to do it. You got to do it.
You got to do it.
Come on.
Did
Come
people
on.
yell, what's up? Yes, that's going to be on my highlight reel. See you on the street. And do you have a favorite fan encounter?
People still, when they recognize me, which isn't as often as it used to be, but every now and then they surprise me. And now, back in the day, they just used to run up right in my ear, yell, ah! Now it's a quiet thing. They quietly, sidle up next to me and go like, what's that? And let me know that they know it's me. I actually, this is 100% true. I actually had a woman tell me that her child's first words were, what's up?
No, come on. Does it ever get old for you to have somebody do that, or do you, love it?
See, here's the thing, and this is what I've always said from day one. We could have gotten famous for something that everybody hated. Then we'd have people coming up and punching us in the face and kicking us in the shin. But it's love. It's all love. So when people do it, they do it from a place of, love. And so it's great.
Well
said.
I love it. Well said, Scott. So how did this commercial change your life, you and your friends' lives?
I was working as a nightclub bouncer, and then I was a working actor. And not just a working actor, but I was literally world famous. And it just, everything snowballed from there. I hosted a television show on ABC. I've done other commercials, I've done movies, I've done other television. So it just completely changed my life.
DBL Nation, be sure to follow Scott on Facebook. Thank you,
Awesome,
Scott,
man.
for taking us down a trip down memory
so
lane.
cool.
We'll be right back. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. Thank you. Hey, everybody.
Thanks, man.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
Anti-vaccine advocate Todd Callender claimed the COVID-19 vaccine causes AIDS during an interview with Wisconsin Senator Ron Johnson. A video of the exchange was posted to the video sharing platform Rumble and Twitter on May 3rd.
You've got more than 100 doctors here, all of whom will tell you that these shots caused vaccine-induced AIDS. They purposefully gave people AIDS.
Callender did not provide any proof for his claim, which has been seen by more than 100,000 people on social media. So let's verify. Does the COVID-19 vaccine cause AIDS? Our sources are the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the World Health Organization, the National Institutes of Health, and Dr. Pyle Coley with the University of Colorado Anschutz Medical Campus. We want to be clear up front that this claim is false. The CDC says there is no association between COVID-19 and HIV, the virus that causes AIDS. And the NIH explains the only way someone can get HIV is through bodily fluids that are transmitted from person to person. Dr. Coley pointed out there have been millions of COVID-19 doses administered and told Verify in a statement there is, quote, no reporting in the vaccine adverse events reporting system that there's an association between the COVID vaccine and development of AIDS. Johnson later tweeted that he also does not believe the vaccine causes AIDS. So it's false that the COVID-19 vaccine causes AIDS. So where did this claim originate? Some skeptics point to a study published in the journal The Lancet as proof. Researchers highlighted vaccines made in China and Russia that are manufactured with adenovirus vectors and argue they may make men more susceptible to becoming infected with HIV if they're exposed to it. They did not say these vaccines induce HIV or AIDS, and the two vaccines that use adenovirus vectors, CanSino and Sputnik V, are not approved by the WHO or FDA. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis.
New inflation figures could impact the dollars in your wallet. Let's connect the dots. Inflation hit a decades-high record, 8.5% in March. That means you're likely paying more for everyday goods like groceries. It also means your money isn't as valuable today as it was this time last year. The key question is whether America's inflation rate is topping out or plowing forward. The Federal Reserve is aggressively raising interest rates to counteract inflation, leading to the highest mortgage rates we've seen in about a decade. The Fed's actions have also thrown stocks into correction territory. Tech giants lost more than $1 trillion in value from Thursday to Monday. Inflation could fall for the rest of the year. Some economists predicting it will be around 4% by the end of the year. If that happens, your money will go much further without you having to do a thing. And that is connecting the dots.
Daily Blast Live is always focused, always ready, always on cue, always timely. This May, don't miss a day. DBL is all new every day. We all know how it goes. The seasons are changing. It's getting a little warmer. And let me guess, you want some new spring and summer gear, but your closet is already packed with clothes. Well, we've got an app that's going to solve your problems, and it's called Vinted. Welcome to your new community. Vinted is a second-hand fashion-focused app where you can buy and sell pre-loved fashion. Just snap, take one, take a photo, write up a detailed description, set the price you want, and upload. There are 0 hidden selling fees, so the price you set is the price you're gonna make. And if you're the buyer, you just search using filters like brand, color, or even condition. And when you finally find that dream piece, you pay through the app. The best part is that to ensure your money is safe, the seller doesn't get paid until you receive your item and make sure it's okay. And get this, Vinted is free to download. So if you don't wear it, sell it. I am doing a tutorial, which will air on our digital stream, about fast fashion and how much waste it uses and how these type of sites are so good for the environment. You have no idea how much is in the waters, the ocean, the air, the carbon. All of this is helping save the planet.
And landfills are full with clothes.
Overwhelmingly. Yeah. Overwhelming. So this is a really big deal.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to that.
Are you?
You gonna get some suits over there?
No, he wants to see my tutorial, but he's joking.
Your tutorial.
I actually cleaned out my closet yesterday, or I was like doing some spring cleaning. I had a bunch, and I thought about Vinted, and I was like, nobody wants this stuff. I'm giving it to Goodwill.
Vinted.
No, yes, they do. I'm telling you.
I think you should.
One man's trash is another one's treasure.
You're right. You're right.
I agree. Now, there's also Goodwill is also fantastic. There's different ones that's good for eco-conscious people. And recycling, reusing, all of that is good.
I'll be going to Goodwill after this because someone might have a party on Saturday that I have to get an outfit for.
Ooh, am I invited? I am.
That's why I didn't say the name, because you are not.
We'll see you same time, same place tomorrow. Bye, guys.